Welcome to the Saturday Super Series, who I'm just going to double check our settings here. We are all... No, oh, hang on. There we go. There we go. There was some weird stuff with the gentleman's rule. You might see that in the chat. Just ignore that. Today, after running literally the same time as Sean Kenny is in qualifying, you would think I'd be really, really happy, but we're actually third from the back in the GT4 category, or GT3 category. It's a bit of a problem. This is the first race where I feel like I don't have the pace to deal with things. You're ninth place. Stop saying you're slow. Andrew Anderson being a little bit of a pity party pooper. And that means we might have to find something in the practicing, or pardon me, in the strategic side of things. And definitely we'll have to avoid making any major mistakes. So that'll be the goal here today. As I make sure that there we go. Here we go. Cross your fingers. Hope no one dies on the start of the race. No Antoine Hubert's, please. R.I.P. And no Spa 1999 or 98 starts. Which, I mean, that at least had
60 minutes.
Weather to
okay, Michael,
it.
stay calm. Focus.
Come on, come on. I know I can go right through them, but I don't like doing that. Stay close, but not too close to Javier Eugeni, or Xavier Eugeni. Sean Kenny alongside me, and the... Whoa. People are really slowed up. Track limit, really.
Green, green, green.
Car left.
We got greens.
Hold your line. Clear left.
Yeah, I know, I broke through Eau Rouge at the start I like to, because otherwise it could become really, really naughty. Lost one spot to Kenny, who has a really good start. Jesus, he is peeling through here. So he's doing real well. I think simultaneously Eau Rouge is like the most dangerous turn and the least dangerous
Looks
turn.
like P4 has been hit in. Lecombe. All right, Michael. Decent start.
Everyone kind of gets
something from here.
like it's built in a manner that obviously can be horrendously dangerous, and that can be horrendously dangerous. And number two is but number two is like respected by every driver. Like every driver's a little bit fearful of Eau Rouge and Radion, and that allows people to be a little safer. We saw some stuff afterwards in the lead up to Lecombe, 2 cars off. This means that I've picked up those 2 spots while losing out to Sean Kenny, so I'm in 12th place, having started 13th. So that's net 1 place. I've got Reynolds behind me, who's, if we're being honest, about the only person I feel comfortable that I can probably just outpace here today. Sorry, Reynolds, if you watch this. It's just so far in the little bit of experience I have with you, it's been a pace 4 that I've won. And to be honest, I look forward to being proven wrong, because that would be neat. Because having someone in the same pace margin as you, like having more people in the same pace margin as you, is excellent. As I could like try and shove
On
it
your
up
left.
on Sean
Clear
there,
left.
but I'll be fairly gentlemanly about it.
B12. Very little fuel left. Box this
Yes, I
lap,
have.
please, Michael.
Oh, that's not right. Crew chief is demanding that I pit. That's kind of funny. Although it should be mentioned, fuel usage does look a little bit high. I figured it for 3.9-ish, 3.98. So we'll have to see if that kind of corrects itself in a few laps, or if I have to.
Yellow flag. There's an incident in
rethink
Radion.
Oh, Martinoff. And I got a warning for track limits. Figured. I did technically cut Radion. Of course, I also was fairly optimistic about how fast I'd be able to run. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see how the fuel usage looks a little closer to halfway, unless I have to pit before then. You really don't want to pit twice here at Spa. It's a really, really long pit lane. Like a second pit stop, or a pit stop that somebody you're battling with doesn't need, it's over. Like it will terminate a battle, just like that. As Reynolds is fighting with Babowski in my rear view mirror. Babowski started on the front row, if memory serves. I was having a little bit of a problem with him in qualifying, where it seemed like he was doing the super slow laps in between his fast laps, which I think with our gentleman's agreement of a 15-second qualifying is kind of a waste, because sure, you'd be like, well, I'm just ruining my own session. You're kind of ruining the guy behind you, because we're not really supposed to overtake. And also, like, what's the point of overtaking a guy that you know is faster than you and is just going slow? I'd like to keep with Kenny and Xavier. Oh, thank God that wasn't warning number 2. Getting 2 warnings on the same lap would have really handicapped me for the rest of the race. Because, again, super long pit lane. I don't want. I want no part of a drive-through. So, like, if I start like going super slow through Eau Rouge, you know why. It's like, please don't give me another warning. Well, Babelski's gotten past Reynolds, so he'll be coming for me next. Tezero, who went off on lap 1, is also in the mix back there. Going to be a little cautious through Eau Rouge. Tires are looking good, although the backs are a little bit high. And to be honest, it looks like I might have actually been able to get away with my small brake ducts at the front.
The gap ahead is now
Brake tires
1.3.
the brakes do not look at all too warm. They weren't too warm in qualifying. It's just that when they're as warm as they were after like 3 laps, or 5 laps, I guess, I just didn't really trust them over the course of 60 minutes. Maybe I should have. We'll find out. Pace was good that lap, by the way. 2:22.4. I mean, 1.3 off of qualifying, but this is Spa. You're going to be very off your qualifying pace in general. It's a very long track. Should have stayed in 3rd gear through there. 2nd gear is not a good place to be. At least in the Lexus through there. Into Stavlo. I'm not actually sure which of those turns is Stavlo. I just kind of think of them collectively as Stavlo.
The guy behind's reeling you in. The gap's now 1.3 seconds. They're quicker than you entering Bruxelles.
I know. Crew chief is telling me that Babelski is faster than me, which is always the case. Babelski is one of the 2 Polish dudes who... They don't feel like they're tier 2, I guess is what it comes down to.
Fastest lap
and they might be,
Fernandez,
right? It's kind of the weird thing, of course, is like, we kind of arbitrarily decided how many drivers were in Tier 1 without, like, seeing pace times. So, like, obviously there was always a chance of just, like, some massive, like, spillover of, like, 1 or 2 quick guys to the next tier. The only people who I'm actually a little annoyed about where they are is, like, Max Simmons, who it's, like, probably should have been somewhere on the Tier 1, Tier 2 line, and is racing in Tier 3 somehow. So that's the only one, and that's why he's max sandbag for commentary purposes for the next little bit. Yeah. Alright, so I'm a little bit worried about fuel. I'm going to probably have to give in, put more in. I mean, it's fine. You'll just make an adjustment at the pit stop. Oh. A little bit off there. I just hope when I get to the 10-minute mark that I haven't used up 20 liters of fuel. Then I don't necessarily have enough to make it to halfway on my first fuel load, which is a bit of a problem. That means that we're looking at a massive change at the pit stop, which is always a bit annoying. Might take a little bit of pressure out of honestly probably all but the right front. The right front's the only one that seems to be like in a super good place. About 2/10 out of the backs and 1/10 out of the left front. Just did a whole video talking about this for the ACC guides. Next ACC guide, by the way, will be lap 1 and how evil it is.
The gap behind is now 0.8. Good lap.
All right, so I've found some
Sector
pace.
2 is 4.8 seconds off the pace.
That's nice. Might be giving me an extra lap though from what I thought I'd be running, and of course the other problem is that means more fuel. I'm gonna be really off. We're getting way different fuel usage here in the race than in practice, which obviously can happen. And I think I know why. It's a very different temperature setting that we have right now from practice. Which makes sense. I thought the race would be starting at the other rounds. I thought the race started at the same time as practice, just like on the next day or whatever. But apparently not. Maybe I'm just misremembering that. That probably is the case.
Okay, Michael, don't let this guy distract you. They're quicker than us entering the chicane.
I mean, let me simplify it for you, crew chief. He's faster than me everywhere. He is just not the guy I'm actually fighting with. So, as per usual, battling with a guy that I'm not really fighting with, if we're being honest. Like, I'm not going to hold him up for 49 minutes. And he's not a championship rival. There's no teams in this series to worry about that kind of thing. So, like, I'm not going to really defend. I'm not going to blue flag myself, but I'm not going to defend. I'm surprised that didn't... I don't know. Sometimes the track limits are a little bit weird. It's kind of the second time, along with the first run through Blanchimont, where I've gotten a little bit nervous about a track limit warning, and it has not appeared. But that Eau Rouge one, which is a line a lot of people take in real life, and I don't even feel really gaining me much time, got me one. But I also know that I think most games are like like the code governing Eau Rouge is like different from any other turn in the game. So that probably is all that is. Dropping back of Sean Kenny, 3.5 seconds now. Oh, that was a little sideways, but somehow legal. No rain on the horizon or anything. That's good. Sky looks clear, so not surprised. Like
P11.
Babowski had a thought about it.
Okay, Michael, we'll need to pit for fuel. 34 minutes into the race.
Pit crew chief thinks I have 34 minutes of fuel. I don't even know if I have that long, actually. It feels like I actually probably have less. This is what happens when you're using up 0.05 of a liter more a lap than you planned on. And well, number two, when you're actually going a little bit faster than you thought you were going to be, because like my fastest lap is faster than my projected lap here, and it doesn't seem like it's that much of a fluke, to be honest, because I'm currently on a pace to set a better one. So I may have messed up my fuel calcs, which is embarrassing for the guy who says never fuck up your fuel calcs. But I am putting up a better pace
Don't be
than I
pressured.
expected.
Keep your exit speeds up. They're faster than us into the chicane.
He's faster than me everywhere. Just accept this, crew chief. Man qualified P2. I qualified P13. Like, there's a significant difference. And, like, it's not like even it was a closed grid or something. It was like P1 and P2 are, like, way ahead of
P11.
everybody else. Let's be real. Zip, zip, zoom. So, about even on pace with Kenny and Eugenie. Babowski still isn't crawling all over my backside, so I take that as a good sign. Please don't be a warning. Phew. Oh, God, thank you. Pick you up a second warning less than a quarter of the way through the race. Oh, that would have been very bad. Never has there been a track that I want a drive-through penalty less than this one. Babowski's thinking about it again, but he's not really close enough. He seems to be able to catch me without particular difficulty, which makes sense, but it doesn't seem like there's a part of the track that he feels super comfortable going for it at. And like I said, I'm not going to do him any favors and blue flag myself. But if he goes for it, I'm very inclined to let him have it. Because if he never gets by me, he's never going to pressure Sean Kenny and Xavier Eugenie for me. This lap is a little bit off the pace. Had a bad run through Stavlo there. But actually it made up ground on Sean, but I think that's because Sean went for it against Xavier and it didn't work out. The other comeback cars, Martin and Tesoro, have not made their way through Reynolds yet.
That last lap was a 222.46.
He's only doing 22 flats, apparently. At least that lap. That'll be the thing I keep an eye on. His lap times.
Car right.
Especially
Still there.
Especially once it gets clear of me.
Hold your line.
Oh, he wants to make an issue of this into
Still there.
Rouge. I'm very nervous.
Hold your line, clear
Very
right.
nervous. Okay, he backed out. I was like, I didn't really want to let him bully me out of that, but at the same time, I was really nervous. Did not get a good run through Eau Rouge as real. Probably I actually should have let him bully me. This would have been a case where the discretion would have been the better part of valor, I think. Because lost a fair amount of ground to the two cars that I actually do think I have a chance of competing with. Even if
okay, Michael, hold your nerve. Just keep it smooth. No mistakes.
Doesn't
They're quicker than us
necessarily
entering
indicate
the chicane.
That was a bit messy, but apparently not actually all that slow. It's up to the end. Bad exit. Ooh. Getting a little bit of a problem on throttle.
That's half fuel.
Could
You've
mean
used
that
half your
I've
fuel.
maybe done a little something bad to the tires. Could mean that I need to just maybe ratchet the traction control up a spot, maybe. We'll see if it happens again. Because the run through Pouillon and Les Franges was a bit rough that time through. Could also just be that the tires are starting to get a little over PSI'd for what I like them at.
P11.
Caught up towards the end to Sean. So, decent third sector at least. Hope this is getting caught on camera. Because I'd love to talk about it on the ESR YouTube channel when we do commentary, theoretically with Byron. I don't like to promise that it's going to be Byron, because sometimes it's not, you know. People got schedules.
Yellow flag, keep your wits about you, mate. There's a white flag. There's an incident in Lecombe. We think it might be Muller.
Muller? Oh, Flack. That's a GT4. Maybe an incident between a GT4 and a GT3 under blues.
The gap behind is now 0.41.
Okay, pit window open. As much as there's like a little bit of my brain going, maybe the tires are a little bit damaged. This lap has been good, and the mistake through Pouillon was not repeated, which suggests more that it was just a driving error and not anything to do with the car. So, no alteration of plans. We have our first on-track blue flag, I should say. We did technically pass Flack, but he was well off the road. This is Colum Rustin, who's a bit further down. He's normally a little higher up, isn't he? Or am I thinking of someone else?
Slower class car ahead.
Okay, thank you. I was going to say, if you're going to go that far off, you cannot tell me you're going to try and not let
The
me
car
go.
ahead's pitting now.
That wasn't Sean Kenny, so Glickster in the pits.
P11.
Super early. A couple of people in the pits super early. Could be damage. Could be just they like to do that. Go for like the super undercut strategy. So I've used about 36 liters so far. This means it will be less than like 120, so I'm not going to have to correct my pit stop to like 60 liters. But it does feel like it's going to be more than 48. Looks like Babelski has elected to pit, so I've potentially thrown his strategy way off. Unless he was planning to go for the undercut like that. See, kids? You don't have to weave around in braking zones and be a dick to keep someone behind you. Oh, Sean Kenny took Xavier. So Kenny up a spot.
The gap behind is now 12 seconds.
That's to Rustum, though. I don't care what my gap is to Rustum. I hope that's not, like, even a thing. Herbie. 53.
Okay, Michael, you're reeling. Eugenie in. The gap is now 2.6. You're coming up on a slower class car.
I got a little close.
On your left.
Apologize to
Clear
Herbie
left.
for getting that close to his bumper. Didn't appreciate how different the speed would be in Stablo. Just not a place I thought of, like, you know, massive performance difference between the two cars. Which I should have. So that's on me. Hondo% on me. Had there been contact there, I would have wanted the book thrown at me. It's Crookie in the pits.
We like this. Keep doing it. E9.
Crew chief is
Incident
happy,
in Eau
even
Rouge.
though, if we're being honest, I'm picking up spots through pit stops, not through overtakes. Suspect, if anything, I've actually gone backwards because probably Babowski's out there in clear air somewhere putting on some decent laps and will probably come out ahead of me. The question maybe is if, like, well, actually I have no idea where Glixer was beforehand. I was going to say he pitted really early and I kind of think that'll backfire on him. But, like, I think he was also, like, in the top 5, so, like, when I say backfire, I don't mean in a way that'll let us, by us I mean me, catch him. So my fight is still very much with Eugenie and Kenny, and there's some stuff coming from behind me that I need to worry about that's on, like, recovery drives. Babelski was, of course, the big one, but also Muller and it started with a T. I can't remember what it was now. And Wilk is coming from the rear. And he's normally a little bit quicker. Xavier Eugenie is having a really hard time with this traffic. He's coming up to it at just, like, the wrong points, I guess.
Slower class car ahead.
Coming up on RWB admin Charger. Through Blanchimont.
Right side.
And
Clear right.
easily clearing. Yeah. Glance up. I like where my pit stop... I like where my pace is, but this may be a mistake because I am losing time, you know, every blue flag, basically. You're gonna, you know, it's multi-class racing. First rule of multi-class racing is you're gonna lose time under blue flag. So if you're taking yourself to more blue flag overtakes, then you're, in theory, losing more time. Now the question is by taking the blue flags now, am I in the long term hurting myself, or am I maybe saving myself some blue flags later on? That's always the question.
There's an incident in turn 9.
Incident turn 9, that's nowhere near us. Skull next up on blues.
There's a group of slower cars ahead.
As well as Jean Baquet. Not sure where they are in the running order. Be nice if we had a on the
you're reeling. Eugenie. The gap
MFD
is
there.
1.8
Number one,
seconds.
it would be probably nice if, honestly, in a game that has only 2 classes of car, and they're not classes that can compete with each other, if it would just, instead of giving us
the gap behind is now
air
15
quotes
seconds.
overall position, it just gave us their class position.
Left side.
Thank you, Skull.
Clear left.
Kind of got held up behind him a little bit longer than I should have, but it was my own fault. I screwed up
Okay, Michael, the next car is Eugenie.
Screwed up Pouillon rather poorly. I mean, the next car has been Eugenie for a while there, crew chief. What are you trying to tell me? This lap is terrible.
Left side.
This lap is terrible.
Clear left.
Got one more GT4, it looks like. Martin Edmonds. He's a ways ahead, so I think I could stay out.
The car ahead's pitting.
Sean Kenny in the pits. Okay. Mine made up for me. Going for an overcut on Sean. Could pit this lap, though. We'll see. Depends on what the traffic... Well, I mean, we got Edmonds and Butler.
Yellow flag.
The thing is, I'll probably catch them both this turn. Or not this turn, this lap. Based on the... Oh. Tazara. Okay, well, I was worried about him coming from behind me, and now he's a lap down to me, so... Well, he's pitted, but... You know what I mean. It's not going to be great for him. So I got Edmonds.
You're coming up on a slower car.
And Butler. Are the 2 GT4s to work with. And once I get clear of them, I'm in theory fairly clear, but at the same time...
track temperature's increasing. It's
running
now
out of pits.
24 Celsius.
We're running out of fuel. Track temperature's up.
Car left. Clear left.
Thank you, Martin. Made that easy. So it is going to be a pit stop this lap. And it looks like... as I completely mess up Pouillon.
The gap to Eugenie ahead is increasing. It's now 5.9 seconds.
It looks like it's going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of 50 liters to take on. And the nice thing about the long pit lane is I should be able to get those adjustments done in the pit lane.
Slower car ahead. He's the class leader for these guys. All right, Michael, we're halfway through. Should be about.
So this really didn't work out all that well. Now, in fairness, staying out the extra lap wasn't necessarily the problem, because it's not like Edmonds held me up. Like the reason I'm so off the pace right now is nothing to do with the blue flag traffic. It's pretty simple. I just love there, but that's about it. Into the pits I go, into the pits I go.
Look out for the pit speed limit. Okay. Expect traffic when you come out. When we leave the pits, we think we'll be in P11.
We'll say 60. And 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Take a little bit. Actually, make it 3 on the back. A little pressure off. No damage to fix. Nice and easy. Car off. Pit stop on. Badowski's in the pits again. So things have not gone well for him. Either that or it wasn't a pit stop that he did earlier. Maybe he spun off. And while I'm in the pits, I'm going to get a beverage from my Camelback. Alright. Ooh. The problem when you're leaning back on the Camelback, the first little bit of water is so warm. kind of screwed up there and shifted up a lap. Martin Edmonds has gotten ahead of me. How did that happen? I am a little intrigued. Doesn't really matter because he's
Eugenie is leading the race.
a GT4 car, but got a way better pit entrance than me, I guess, or pit exit, or found his spot. Because I am a little bit paranoid about, like, I've messed up that damn pit stop so many times. Glickster. Anderson's gonna get me. Kenny's gonna get me. Crookie might. Yeah, Crookie will get me. I don't see Eugenie, but he may just not have pitted yet, so he may be.
There's
very
traffic
up the
behind.
road.
Keep your wits about you. You're coming up on a slower class car.
Ugh, my computer glasses from Gunner Optical are. Oop, I did technically mess up a little bit there while I was
On
trying
your
to
right.
brush my glasses off a
Clear
little
right.
bit. Thank you, Martin. So I come out in 11th place, which is about what I went in at. I mean, I pitted from air quotes 6th, but you and I both know we weren't in the 6th place. Let's be real. But I am way behind Sean Kenny now, so yeah, definitely didn't come up with the right timing on that pit stop. I lost too much time. Not in the last lap,
Car behind is
but
reeling you in. The gap is now
the
10
lap
seconds.
before the last lap. I lost too much time behind making my way through traffic. And that's hurt me. At least as far as Sean is concerned. And I'm well behind Crookie, but I was well behind before. Fernandez. I don't even know where Fernandez came from. I think he was way up the road, so not worried about that. So that means my last real variable to think about is Xavier, who stayed out longer, I think. Either that or he did pit and has vanished. Got Reynolds and Wilk fighting about 12 seconds behind me. They're close enough to be a variable to my race, but I feel good about being able to keep them behind me. A little deep there, but not too bad. See how the tires are with the warming track.
P11.
I think I have more than sufficient fuel. Car accident pit lane. I've
There's an incident in Eau
pulled up
Rouge.
the, oh, it's Butler. GT4 class leader, in theory. Yeah, that pit stop was not. That pit stop also
pitting.
just wasn't very good. So Javier Eugenie's in the pits. Means he was about a lap ahead of me, but of course, that pit stop is long, would be the word. A little off track there. Because, like, Butler pulled slightly close to me on the pit stop, and Martin got ahead of me, so it was not a good pit stop. Not like the crew screwed up. Like, I didn't get a good entrance. The exit was messed up, of course, by me switching up into second gear when I didn't mean to or need to. So yeah, I didn't really do a ton right through the pit stops there, which is disappointing. Shot myself in the foot a couple of times. Eugenie now, I thought he was pitting. I'm confused by what crew chief is saying.
The gap in front has increased. It's now about 15 seconds.
Rookie's pulling away from me. And to be honest, he's not... I don't think he's really... There's somebody in the pits. Oh, it's Badowski. So Badowski, I think, parked it. That'll be interesting to know what caused that.
Okay, Michael. There's a car exiting the pits. Heads up.
22.7. As long as I can stay in the 22s, I think I'm actually decently happy on pace. I mean, yeah, it's not getting me anywhere, but... Like, I want to be in the 21s by the end of the race, but we're kind of back to that, like, heavy fuel stage, so... Actually, I guess 21s probably is definitely possible, because, of course, I had that really big tank slapper through Pouillon, and apparently a bad run through Eau Rouge on that 22.7, so, like... Let me revise that. I want to be in the 221s. So... Jenny has rejoined quite a ways ahead, so not really racing anybody right now. Haven't had anyone really in my league. I knew that from practice. Qualifying was a little bit of a false flag, I think.
The gap behind is now 11 seconds.
Because I think, frankly, oh, Wilk is coming at me hard. Okay, maybe I got a showdown with Wilk. That'd be cool. After completely losing my Nürburgring point haul, I'm, you know, not super championship focused in this in this series. Also think I'm gonna miss a race upcoming shortly. So between that and the fact that I lost a round and then didn't have a very good rebound round at Suzuka has let me kind of, to be clear, wanting to race, but like it's now a little bit more about fun. So like the idea that Wilk could pass me is kind of defeated by the fact that Wilk and I could have some fun. And wow, this lap is quick. Down to the 220s. At least by my standards, this is quick. Didn't see what Crookie did last lap, but I do think I closed in on him a little bit. New fastest lap.
Just keep hitting your marks. This is looking good. P11.
Could be just... That being said, it's probably just the track getting faster. We were talking about how the track was... the track temperature was changing and so on, so that's condition changing. Yeah, I got more than enough fuel. I've got a projected...
That's 20 minutes to go.
A projected 12 laps. And there's no way I'm looking at more than 10. Well, it depends what the gap, I guess, the leader is. Because there's always that. So, I mean, well, okay, so let's say 11 as the high point. No one's running sub 2-minute laps. I would hope, because they may need to be checked for hacks and drugs. Clip the curb a little there. Looking at Wilk, looking at Crookie. Crookie seems, I don't know. I think I can go faster than him on a lap, but I just think that the pace favors him.
The leader's just done a 219.11. The gap in front is now 13 seconds.
So I'm within 2 seconds of the leader in terms of pace. That's nice. Like, what, 1.4? Call it 1.5 for ease.
The gap behind is now 11 seconds.
That's not terrible. I've stabilized the gap to Wilk. Unfortunately, I've also stabilized the gap to Crookie. I'm not really catching him. So that's a bit of a problem. Weird little timing thing there. Go 221 this time around. Not terrible. Should, next time around, look at what Crookie's actually running. That'd be interesting. And what about Wilk? 221.7. So was faster than Wilk that lap by 0.4. And I am being slightly careful through Eau Rouge, because I'm picking up like a little bit of a blink, and of course I'm also like FPS is kind of going down a little bit. I need to drop my frame limiter again. I tried moving it up because I don't know. This is like weird. The hardware I have, I built this computer specifically. Car 420. No, that's Zach Morgan. That's a GT4. That is of no help to me. Although that is something I didn't think about. Track warnings will obviously be something that completely derails a race. So, the chance to move up is always there as long as you're on the lead lap, frankly. And at least as far as I know, I am. I have not seen a blue flag. And judging by the fact that when I came out of the pits, Eugenie, the leader, was at the back end of the track, I doubt anyone lapped me while I was in the pits. A couple GT4s got their lap back on me, but that was about it. GT4, we do have a little bit of GT4 traffic coming up. Crookie did a 222, so he might add he's right behind Flack, so maybe a little bit of loss.
Well done, Michael. You're looking really good. Come on, keep your focus.
Blues.
P11. There's an incident in Eau Rouge.
And I'm waiting for a lap time from Wilk, 21.1. So he got a 10th back that lap, as I ran a 21.2. Flack and Morgan. And there's another GT4 also coming up. So
15 minutes remaining.
This
15 minutes to go. Come on, stay focused. Apexes and exits.
Did I lose time under the blue flags, or am I going to gain time as the blue flags become a thing again? In my whole pit stop strategy. I do need to desperately find a way to not fog up these glasses. If anyone has any tips on the gaming glasses and not fogging them up, because I just took them off now. It's a problem with anything, but it's particularly a problem with sim racing, where well, I do tend to sweat.
The gap behind is now 12 seconds.
As you probably just heard me wipe some sweat away from my eyes, and that is, generally speaking, where the fogginess comes from.
Slower class car ahead.
So, coming up to Flack. And at a not great place. There's two spots I really don't want to come across GT4s, and it's Eau Rouge, and it's Blanchimont.
On your right. Clear right.
Got it done before Blanchimont, at least. Actually, don't know what that turn is called. I just kind of... Again, much like Stavlo, I just kind of... Whoa! What is Morgan doing?
Yellow flag. Watch out. Incident in the chicane.
Left side. Clear left.
That might explain why, number one...
That was a 222.00.
He's being a bit of a pooch in qualifying and worried about getting a lap in 15 minutes. Might also explain his track cut penalty. quick sip of water. Get through Eau Rouge, nice and safe. Wilk has lost time to me. That's good. Especially considering that last lap was not very good. Crookie's pulled away again, so I think Crookie's bad lap had more to do with blue flag traffic.
Slower class car ahead.
Caught him in an awkward spot or whatever. I broke too much there for Lake Combe. Column Weston. Whoa. Got a bit loose. Alright. Should get past him easy here. Thank you. He is letting me past. Pouon, I guess, would be the third spot. You really wouldn't really want to catch a GT4. It's better than Eau Rouge and Blanchimont because the GT4 really doesn't want to get out of it at those two corners, and I don't blame them because those are two corners where you can lose massive amounts of time by being courteous under blues. Pouon is dangerous by his existence, but I think is relatively easy to surrender to a GT3 coming through. So
the gap behind has increased to 11
without
seconds.
Completely destroying your lap. Speaking of this, though, we're coming up to Eau Rouge, and I might still be behind Herbie. I think I can get him before then. At the same time, I don't want to be like
slower class car.
I don't want to be like super aggressive with a GT4 or anything. It's just looks like he was giving me the source, so let's do that. I was thinking I might have to follow him through there and then outrun him towards Eau Rouge, but he decided to take care of that for me, and I tip my hat if I were wearing one. I don't wear one while I'm racing, so I'll tip my glasses, which are on the top of my head, to Herbie. Thank you. That is, I think, the great challenge of backmarker blue flags is it's not that you need to sacrifice your own.
Okay, Michael, 10 minutes to go. That's 10 minutes left. There's an incident in. Who on? It looks like it's Muller.
Oh, Muller off. Am I behind Muller or ahead of Muller? I feel like I'm already ahead of Muller because he had an incident early in the race. So, well, he would normally be ahead of me. Oh, no, okay, he is ahead of me. Okay. So, depending on how his car is, that might spicing up our race here. Wilk and I are kind of seesawing, but it's blue flag traffic as opposed to, I think, like pace. Like, I deal with the blue traffic, he closes up, then he's got to deal with the blue traffic, and he falls back. Sort of thing. Oh, we are catching Muller, so something is wrong with his car, I think. And are we in for our first top 10 in RWB? Just maybe. He's battling with Crookie. Crookie's through.
The guy in front is Muller.
Okay. Oh, he's in the pits. Okay, that'll do it. We're through. Morgan's in the pits as well. One of the actually pretty good GT4 drivers. And looking to make his debut, I think, at Brands Hatch in the 3D Speed Series. Be honest, I'm a little worried about his, like, mentality. One, I don't mind saying this, he seems like a bit of a weeb. And I'm not saying it's bad to be a weeb, I'm not. It's just sometimes weebs have some, like, let's call it interesting ideas on reality. And I know I certainly do as well, so. This is not, that's a statement far from limited to the anime and so on community. But the whole staying out as the only GT4 to violate the gentleman's agreement was like a good example of things that make me a little nervous. I know it's a gentleman's agreement, but here's the thing. If there's a gentleman's agreement, you don't agree with it, and you go and violate it, and you realize you're the only person doing
on this
it.
Car, the gap is
it's a little
10
worrisome.
seconds.
And then his excuse of, I don't know if I can get a good lap in 15 minutes. I mean, don't get me wrong. You're not necessarily going to get a perfect lap in 15 minutes, but, like, I'm a pretty bad driver, and all things considered, and I managed to get a lap I was very happy with in qualifying. To be honest, I've been actually very impressed with some of my pace in this race, although it hasn't really resulted, it's not resulting in necessarily the results I want, but I mean, a top 10 would be cool. And Wilk is not really doing anything threatening back there. And I think I am closing a little bit on Crookie. 6 minutes left. I have 6 liters or 6 laps of fuel in theory.
The gap behind is now 13
no
seconds. 10th
there.
position. Your lap time was at 2:20.67.
2:20.67. Good lap time. Charger's next on the list. Now the question is, was I gaining time on Crookie because he was stuck behind Charger, maybe? We'll see. Xavier Eugeni's 20 seconds up the road. Not really in play without a mistake. And actually, to be honest, I don't think I can make up 10 seconds in 5 minutes. So probably not even really Crookie in play, but we gonna try for it. It's not gonna stop me from trying my damnedest. It's like I said, today is about fun, as this is just not really a series that I see myself as a competitor per se in, just because, like I said, I think I'm going to miss a race in this whole
Coming up on a slower
mess.
class car.
There's Charger up ahead in his Porsche.
Okay, Michael, don't think about the lap times. Just hit each and every apex.
Something
5
about
minutes
yellow
to
and
go,
black
5
Porsche
minutes
does
left.
seem like really correct. Although, 286 got a... Okay, I'm not going to dive down the inside. Oh, unless he's going to give it to me. Thank you, Charger. I was reasonably happy to follow him through there. Drive-through penalty is for Reynolds, so that doesn't help me out at all. He is back in 12th place and not really a threat. So 9.7 to Crookie. Made up some ground, but this lap time is, of course, not going to be great because of the Blair flag. Charger. Flag up ahead. Might have been Crookie.
Keep it up. We're looking
Crookie
good here.
lost a little bit of
P10.
time. Yeah, Crookie's back up to 10 ahead. I mean, the pit stop didn't go great. I should have, you know, hindsight being 2020, should have actually pitted earlier. There was a warning number 2 for track limits. Okay, we'll be really careful. Yellow flag sector 2. It's not Crookie, so not much to talk about in that regard. Full Too much curve there. I hate this turn. I hate Ravage. Here's the thing. There's a lot of turns on this track that are, like, dangerous and easy to fuck up. Blanchimont. Pougon. Eau Rouge. Of course.
White flag.
Who's the white flag for? Can't be Day, can it? He's moving like another GT4, isn't he?
You're coming up on a slower car. There's a white flag.
Oh, maybe it is Day. Or maybe
okay,
it's,
Michael, you're reeling this guy in. The gap's
Zach
now
Morgan?
8.4. They're pretty slow into turn 11. 2 minutes to go. 2 minutes.
Hit the brakes,
Right side,
kind of.
clear right.
So it is Morgan that was the white flag, I think. Roll it rather peacefully through there. Day wants to take the racing line. That's fine. We'll take the inside into the bus. Had to go a little deep, and as a result, gonna have a kind of shitty lap time. But again, it was actually faster than Crookie's, so. There we go.
Got 10 minutes of fuel remaining.
Could be my final time through Eau Rouge, depending on how much. I think I overfilled the car again. I don't know. I think I panicked a bit. My initial idea was definitely off, but I think I will probably have too much. But then there's also the cooldown lap, and I mean, if we get 2 more laps here, that's gonna be like 12 liters. So actually, this could be perfect. If not, I've got like an extra lap on board. Who cares? Menacing Skull. Next up. Could be my last time through all these turns, depending on... Oh, no, we'll get one more. So the fuel's going to end up being just about perfect. After all the worrying I didn't have enough, and then worrying that I overfilled, and now... Nah, it was probably fine. Menacing Skull fighting with John Barker up ahead. They'll probably be... Not the most cooperative of blue flaggers, with them battling for a position with 2 laps to go, or 1 and a bit to go. And of course, it's Blanchimont. Ease up a little bit. Skull gave me room, much appreciated. Next up, John Barker. Can we get him out of the way before Eau Rouge? So the question is maybe, because I'm not going side by side with him through Eau Rouge.
Car left.
He is.
Clear left.
He let off, I think. I was thinking I should let off, but he did it, so.
The track temperature's rising. Yeah. It's now 26 Celsius.
Track's getting warmer again. Alright, final lap, 6.4 to Crookie, so made up a fair amount of ground towards him at the end. I think he's had some bad moments with the blue flaggers. Because it's not like I'm doing great times. I mean, that last lap was 22-1. Actually, one of my worst laps in a while. And this one's going to be also a little problematic because of the Eau Rouge bit. I don't think anything is, you know, again, I don't think anything is really on here, but we have a winner, at least in the GT3 category. Pouon. Not sure if Martin wants me to go for it or not, but he kind of was leaving me room. So we'll take it. And through that, we've, of course, lost about a half second to the Crookie. Nothing really on. Wilk has closed on me towards the end. I think he has gotten a bit of better luck through the GT4s. Particularly, I did kind of awkwardly overtake Barker and Edmonds, and to be clear, no problem with what they did. It's just awkward. Just bad timing.
There's an incident in La Source. It looks like Fernandez.
What do we have an incident in La Source for? Wouldn't that be after the finish of the race? And we finish with...
There we go, it's over. Bring it back round.
Just about perfect. Fuel. There's Crookie and his Lexus.
Looks like the leader has gone off in Radion.
There's a third Lexus somewhere. I don't remember who it is now, though.
We think P3's
Hopefully
gone
I beat
off
them.
in La Source.
Hopefully I wasn't last to the Lexuses. That would be kind of annoying. Because I felt pretty good about this race. I mean, 10th place is, you know, always a decent result. Helped by some people having some problems. First and foremost, I don't remember his name now, but the Polish dude in the Ferrari, who we held up early on, was
looks like P3's gone off in
definitely
La
someone
Source.
who probably would have beat me. Not that guy. That's Marinelski, who probably won. Badadowski, something like that. I don't remember now. Cool down, cool down. Just listening to people talk about their race and running out of fuel. So, best result of the season. I think it's easy the best race, too, because obviously Nürburgring was a disaster, and Suzuka in the wet was a disaster. Things were good in the dry, but the oh, there we go. The wet ruined things completely for me there. So there we go. Where are we next round for this series? Kinda. I'll finish off on that note. And it will be Silverstone. I like that track. Then we're at Paul Ricard and Calami and Monza and Barcelona. So hopefully I can do something at Silverstone, because Paul Ricard and Calami tend to not go my way.